Welcome back to Limitless and Unfiltered, my friends. We're back. It has been a minute, okay? Actually, it's been 2 months if we're being real, okay? And you've been probably wondering where the hell we have disappeared to. And I want you to pull up a chair. I want you to grab a drink, grab yourself, anything, water, a cafecito, something, because today I'm going to get real with you guys and tell you what has been going on in my life. Jenny is not with us today in this episode, but she will be back with us in and out. She will tell you exactly what has been going on in her life and all of the things that have kept us extremely busy. But I thought I would come on here and share with you guys what has transcribed and happened throughout these last 2 months that we've been MIA. And you know what? Like, if I'm being honest with you guys, I used to feel super guilty for taking breaks. Okay. Like the world was going to fall apart if I stopped talking or if I stopped showing up, even for the slightest second. And as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, we're conditioned to be on all the time. Okay. But the last 2 months where you haven't heard from us, they were a necessary pause, like completely necessary. It was like a full body, full soul, full brain reset, essentially. And I'm finally in the space to come back and talk to you guys and let you guys know exactly, what has been going on, the shifts that have happened. Again, I'm going to speak for myself and I'll let Jenny come back and share with you guys everything that's gone on in her life in the last 2 months. And if I'm being honest with you guys, it has felt a lot longer than that. Like I feel like I've been away for so long from the podcast because it's something that we birthed with such passion and so much joy and truly loving to do it. But yeah, it took us 2 months to realize that we also needed to reset. We needed to realign. There was things that were happening in our life that just took precedence over the podcast. And in other circumstances or in another time of my life, I would have felt completely taken out by that, as if I let people down, or as if, just the guilt itself, like I was saying. So let me paint the picture for you guys, okay? Motherhood during the last 2 months has been extremely loud. It has been extremely challenging. I found myself not really understanding what was going on within me and why I was having such a hard time in my motherhood role. And then to add on top of that, work has been very full in both my creator realm and in my dental hygiene life. And life itself, like, it felt like it was throwing little plot twists here and there practically every day. Okay. So my nervous system, if I'm being completely honest, like with you, like my nervous system was just like, okay, girl, sit down or we're gonna sit you down. Okay. And so I listened, and for the first time I said, all right, like I get it. So we took a step back from the podcast, not because we don't love it, because truthfully, this is a space where Jenny and I have felt so much love and so much connection with people. And it's not because we didn't have anything to say, rather, we have a lot to say, but it was because we needed to refill that creative tank within us. And the only way to do that was to take a step back for a little bit. We needed to rest without feeling absolutely any pressure. I personally needed to breathe without a deadline. As you may know, like I am the editor of the podcast, so it is a lot as well. And like I said, life was just throwing so many curveballs at me that I was just like, I need to remember that if I'm going to be the engine behind everything that I create, then the engine also needs maintenance, if that makes any sense. So this is where we're at. We were at that point where I needed to listen to my body. Jenny was very busy with some extremely exciting things that, again, I'm going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger there and let her kind of get into it. But nonetheless, we're back, and I want to emphasize, the importance of this. I always say, nothing happens to me, everything happens for me. And I truly live by that. And so with my and Jenny's, I don't want to say like disappearance act, essentially, with our not showing up here on the podcast, I wanted to come back with a lesson, because in that same breath that I always say everything happens for me and not to me, I always ask myself, okay, if this is what's happening for me in my life right now, where is the lesson? And I want to share the lesson with you. that I learned from the last 2 months of taking a step back. And it is that rest is not laziness. Okay. Rest is not falling behind. Rest is not weakness. And I think society has tended to make that kind of the narrative where rest equals something negative, or that you're not worthy enough or not doing enough, where in reality, I feel like rest is wisdom. In the last 2 months, I've been able to clear my head. I've been able to literally take a step back, but also take a step in. And I'll get into all that in actually our next episode, which I'll drop something at the end of this episode, so stick around. But I want to let you know that when you allow yourself to slow down and you allow yourself to take a breather, it's essentially you creating the space for clarity to come in. Okay. You make the space for creativity, and you make space for God to whisper things to you when you can't hear because you're constantly on the go. Okay. And so in my case, I realized how much I was ignoring the signs of my body and how much my body was talking to me and telling me. So that came in the form of like the fatigue, the irritability, the overthinking, the feeling like everything was heavier than usual. And this is what I told you guys at the beginning of this episode is I didn't understand why my motherhood journey felt so freaking heavy. Okay, it felt so freaking heavy. And so all of these things that I was experiencing in my body and I was experiencing in my soul and like what I felt, those things weren't random. Those things were my body sending me essentially like love letters saying like, hey, like, can we be on the same team again? Like, can you just chill for a second? Which was again something that I've been so conditioned to like, one, ignore, and two, not take seriously. I've always been the type to like just push through, just do more, just, preoccupy yourself with maybe a different thought or a different activity, and then that feeling of being tired will go away. All because I have had so much guilt of like taking a step back in everything. So I've always been that type of person to just like push, push, push. And this, my friends, brings me to the real heart of today's episode, which is listening to your body. Our bodies are always talking. And the problem is that we've been trained to override that message. Guilty, guilty, friends, guilty. I've done that for years, right? For example, you feel tired? Okay, drink some coffee, right? Or drink fizz or whatever it is that you have for energy. You're feeling overwhelmed? Okay, we'll push harder. You're feeling disconnected from yourself, your body, from your kids? Scroll your way through it, like doom scroll, right? Like we have been conditioned and programmed our entire lives to just ignore the signs that our body tells us. But you know what I've learned through all of this, through the last 2 months of taking the break, through, a course that I went to or a seminar, I don't know how to call it. It's a 3-day intensive. I learned that your body never lies. And deep down inside, I knew that, but it really comes to a point where you awaken, okay? And your body doesn't care about your deadlines, like your mental deadlines, the things that you have to accomplish at work or the things that the goals that you place for yourself. Like your body doesn't care about that. It doesn't care about your to-do list. It doesn't care about any of that because it will tell you the truth even when your mind tries to negotiate yourself out of that. Yeah, I definitely felt that. And these last 2 months were a reminder of how important it is to just slow down and breathe. Because when you learn to respect those signals, everything changes. Everything. Your energy shifts, your patience comes back, and my goodness, can I tell you guys something? The 3-day intensive plus taking these 2 months to really dive back deep into myself really brought back my patience. My motherhood journey right now, what was I missing? What have I been missing out on the last 5 years of my motherhood journey where I have never felt such peace, such patience? And that's not to say that I haven't had days of like, I feel myself getting to the point of frustration, but now I have the tools in hand and I want to share them with you, and I will, okay? I will. But I have the tools to really understand like at what point my breaking point is about to hit. And it is wild when you become aware of yourself so deeply and so internally that your life completely changes. Your creativity returns, your peace gets louder. I am, excuse my language, unfuckable with right now. I really am. I am at a point where literally nothing that's thrown my way, and there have been things that have been thrown my way the last, specifically the last like 2 weeks since I've been back from that intensive that they would have taken me out before. And now I see the world in such a different perspective. I see motherhood in such a different perspective that it's no longer something that's taking space up mentally for me. Okay. So, yes, we've taken the last 2 months off. And instead of shame, I found strength in this time. Instead of the guilt that normally I would feel, I found the grace within myself to allow myself this time. Instead of burning out, I found alignment. I found alignment within me. I found alignment within my motherhood journey. I found alignment within my career. I found alignment within my partner. It literally, these 2 months were sacred. And now we're coming back to this podcast with a clearer mind, a calmer heart, and a deeper intention for the conversations we're going to have here. And the reason that I say this, the way that I say this, is because I've already lined up our first guest coming next week. And it is someone that I met at Awaken Your Highest Self, which was the 3-day intensive that I went to in Austin, Texas. And he's going to be sharing, we're just going to be sharing everything on here, our experiences, what we felt. You get to hear a little bit more about him. And I'm super excited because this season, my friends, we are going to listen to our bodies. We are tuning into our God-given intuition, and we are going to honor our own energy instead of fighting it like we've been used to. And we're going to give you the tools that we've learned in these 2 months off in order for you to level up to your highest self as well. Okay, we're giving ourselves permission to be human, and we're going to give you the permission to do so as well, instead of feeling like you're running like a freaking machine. So I wanted to make this episode short and sweet to get us back into the mood of things, get us back into the rhythm of things. And I feel so powerful and so strong and so aligned in what we are doing that I want to take you on this journey. And I can't wait for Jenny to rejoin us in the podcast and let you know what she's been up to, because she's been up to a lot, my friends. And I'm so proud of her, and I'm so excited for her journey. But I will let her honor us with telling us and our audience exactly what it is that she's been up to. So I'm going to end it here. And I am just going to tell you guys, if you've been feeling the nudge to slow down, to rest, to take a breather, to, just slow your pace in life, well, this is your sign. You don't need to earn your rest. Stop giving into the guilt. You are allowed to give it to yourself simply because you exist. So I want to thank you for being patient with both Jenny and I want to thank you for being here. And I'm so excited that this podcast is about to, reach new heights, because we are so proud of everything that we have done in the last 2 months in order for us to show up in a bigger, bolder, brighter, more unapologetic, more limitless, and unfiltered than ever before. And thank you guys for choosing to grow with us, even during the quiet seasons. All right. Have a wonderful day.